The National Film Video Censors Board is the regulatory body set up by Act number 85 of 1993 to regulate films and video industry in Nigeria. The board is empowered by law to classify all films and videos, whether imported or produced locally. It is also the duty of the board to register all films and videos outlets across the country and to keep a register of such registered outlets, among other functions. Our focus on this segment is copyright and uncensored works. 2 years on, we're looking at the issues within the realm of this administration. And my guest is Alhaji Adedayo Thomas. He's the Executive Secretary, National Film and Video Censors Board. Good to have you on inside.
Thank you.
Where are we with cinema in Nigeria?
You see, the cinema culture evolves from, we have to look at it from the village square, moving into stages by the likes of late Ogunde and Co., then moving to several other ones, then before it now goes into cinema at a stage. The cinema culture then boomed, but suddenly, with the coming of DVD, Betacams, and all other technological development, it went back into comatose until a couple of years back, when it has to be brought back again. That started from Silverbird, and from that period, we've been having the cinema culture. But suddenly, the CD2 came along, so the two were tying along. CD was making money, cinema culture was making money, and our culture started spreading widely within Africa and outside Africa. Then with the coming of Nollywood, the cinema keeps growing, but not as expected until the coming of this administration headed by President Muhammad Buhari, who generally look into the creative industry and discover that we should key into the business line to spread the cultures and morals of the society. And so when I came in, cinema was less than about 4, but now we have ideally Nigeria has the capacity to have 774 cinemas.
So where are we now?
But where we are now, we are above 50 cinemas now, and nationally, and we have over 150 screens when we talk about cinemas. And with the ease of doing business policy of the president, the couple of investors that have started building, in less than, by this year, we should have well over 20 new cinema coming up here in Abuja, in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Kano, in different places. You remember one time like that when the president of France came in, purposely he wants to look into the creative industry and specifically the film industry in Nigeria, and that has started happening. Structures are emerging from different places, from investors. But
well, I'll still talk about the issue of regulating locally. It's not about opening the floodgates for cinemas to open. What are you doing about regulating the content that comes in? Because if the cinemas, you talk about foreigners trying to establish cinemas, how are you regulating it so that the soft power of Nigeria that we have gotten from Nollywood is not lost?
Yeah, you see, ideally from time, there's this percentage, there's this quota that we allow in cinemas compared to the local, our domestic films. So opening up does not mean we are opening up for foreign investors to kill the domestic market. In fact, as a matter of fact, if you go to any cinema hall today, our local films makes more money than the only one I can point to that made a lot of money compared to the domestic films is just what is it called, Black Panther. And aside from that, all other films, Merry Men, couple of other ones that are coming out in cinemas makes a good lot of money from cinemas. Okay. And these are domestic films. There's a regulations that you must not, kind of hear or show foreign films above the local films.
Okay.
And the foreign films are equally being subjected to the same censorship and classification activities that the locals are being subjected to. So there is no preference for any foreign films. And as a matter of fact, all foreign films that comes in DVD are illegal. You see, for those on the wheelbarrow, we could, when we reason,
shops, not just wheelbarrow, shops.
Yeah, and small shops, we reason and look at it as if, okay, although ignorance of law is not allowed, but we seize whatever we want to seize, we confiscate it, then we subject them to education so that we can let them go. But for the chunk, for those who are massively producing it and importing it, we don't do that. In fact, we're in several courts as I speak with you because of the operations.
As much as the creative industry churns in a lot of revenue in Nigeria, when Nigeria was rebased, we had so much that the creative industry brought in. What are you doing regarding piracy? Because these talented Nigerians, actors, musicians and what have you, cry every day that they come up with talented productions, but before they know it, they are pirated, they're all on the streets.
You see, it's a multi-dimension from the government side. The government job is to provide an enabling environment for the society, and that is protecting the intellectual property right of individual. The issue of piracy, I call it piracy because our mandate did not say piracy, but our mandate, if you look at it, it says uncensored and unclassified works. So uncensored and unclassified works, if you see any pirate job, that means that works, any pirate works, that means that works has not been censored or classified. So it equally falls within our own mandate to do. When the administration came in, I was mandated to reorientate the staff. So we have a massive capacity building of what they are supposed to do, because pre-2015, I have to be sincere with you, all they do is to employ and somebody sit down, no orientation, no nothing. But the first capacity building is since the creation of National Film and Video Censors Board was done to all the staff so that they know what to do. And of recent, you see, enforcement, there's no way you do enforcement without carrying along or having a strong collaborations with the security agencies, starting from police. Police has been wonderful, working with us. And of recent, 150 of us graduated from the police college in Kaduna, in Kaduna, Enugu, and yes, as operatives, including myself. I have to go through the training. It's not a month, 2-3 months training. We started a long time, but successful. 150 of us graduated, and we even move into operations. Before that, we discovered some technicalities of our operations that are not in place, and which have straightened up. No films that you see in DVD that is foreign that is allowed into this country, because they pass through the wrong channel and they are affecting the domestic market, as well as creating a gap or a channel for the intellectual property rights rating of this country to go down, which shouldn't be. So that's why, aside from police, we are collaborating with, in my board we have customs. We're collaborating with customs so that at the point of entry of those things, even foreign jacket is not allowed. So they will be able to. Immigration, they have a lot to do with that. EFCC, to have uncensored works, unclassified work, and in an uncensored premises is an economic crime. So EFCC is equally, we key into their programs. If staffs are involved in this crime, ICPC are there to deal with the staff. So all chains of DSS has one of the best intelligence network we can talk about in the world. Do
you also have collaboration with external agencies similar to what you're doing in Nigeria?
Yes, of course. In South Africa, take for example, their sister, as at last week, is running into almost $1 billion of Nigerian products, illegally pirated and censored abroad. Okay. So they're waiting for us to have the meeting and choose a date where it's going to be burnt. As I speak with you, the South African delegates are in Lagos waiting for me. The Kenyan delegates of the same regulatory agency are waiting, because Virtually in Africa, when you talk about African cinemas, the only thing they know is Nollywood. Even mistakenly, in Europe and America, when you are watching a Ghanaian film, they say it's Nollywood. So we're virtually everywhere, and it's like you can't discuss the issue of film in the world now as I speak if Nigerians are not seated.
What's our current rating?
Our current rating so far is that we're now, before we used to be 5, 6, but from 2015 we're placed third. Hollywood is 1. After Hollywood, Bollywood. After Bollywood is Nollywood.
Okay.
But now we are second. After Hollywood is Nollywood.
Okay.
And 2000, and there's always a big conference in Las Vegas. Of all the stakeholders, the biggest stakeholders you can talk about the film industry, and there's an award. Nigeria won what? The emerging markets in terms of content. So there is no single week where you don't see French people coming in and American people coming in, Chinese are rushing in, Koreans are having collaborations with us.
Is there a possibility that some of this content could also sneak into Nigeria through some of the broadcasters, talking about radio and television? Are you doing something about that?
You see, if you look at agencies and the workings of government, there are a couple of other things that is being done by NBC, NCC, and ourselves.
Okay.
So, but because we have good collaboration, so we meet all the time to see where our functions, where we can collaborate and come out as one. So those are kind of things we're doing. And you see, wherever I go, and it has to concern NCC or NBC or any other government agency, I call their attention. Hey, we need to be here. And
besides protecting their product, what's your interface with the actors, the operators themselves?
Well, the actors, it's not only the actors.
The experts, the directors, the stakeholders.
We have
the content providers, more or less, yes.
Content owners, script writers, costumiers.
What's your interface with them?
Before I was appointed, before the coming of President Muhammad Buhari in the first term, it has been no-go area. They don't have trust in us. They have lost hope in the industry. There is no good relationship. But with my appointment, I took back, I gave them the industry and brought them closer to me and said, this is us. We can't let it.
We have testimonies to that effect.
Yeah, so it's been wonderful. I must probably use this opportunity to thank the stakeholder. We never had an issue. We're going to have stakeholders engagement in Lagos. When we do that of the south, we come to the north, then we do that of the east as well. So
it's a regular interface.
Yeah,
okay, let's look at between the box office and DVD. Where are we with it? Is it at par or one is winning?
The thing is this. You see, a chunk of us that live in cities and Lagos, Kano, and Onitsha, we think DVD is dying. Some people say DVD is dying. But then I put it to them, and those, because we have the research, and I put it to them that, look, when you go to customs, you see chunk of container load of DVD player coming in. Do we use DVD in Nigeria to cook vegetables? No. It goes into the villages and things like that. So the sales of DVD, the market of DVD is still huge. We're not disputing the coming of the cinema, which is equally huge and is growing. So the two are equally going pari passu. And I don't see DVD, the sales of DVD, the marketing of the... Okay, take for example, if people complain that their works is being pirated, or uncensored work, unclassified work is in the market, and they are making money from it. So who buys that? That shows that there is a market.
Okay, that takes me to the next issue. Now, as strong as the media is, content is available, and anybody who does not understand it can jump at any content.
All right.
What attitude should Nigerians put up in terms of registering content? Because if I see somebody who sells DVDs, name it, in a tray or in a wheelbarrow, all I jumped at was the latest film, and I just buy. So what attitude should they put up? And you have talked about the rural areas here. They are vulnerable. Yeah. People who escape you in the urban centers who find themselves in the rural fringes of Nigeria. And this content you're trying to regulate find themselves to these places. Some of the ones we may have seized I can tell you people are watching them as we speak.
Okay. You see, it is not over until it is over. Part of the things we do is to put in place what we call media literacy program. Media literacy program is to make ambassadors of the younger ones. Because most of the things, why we regulate, why we look into the content, is to protect, one, the growth of the children, the moral and cultural standard, and of course to educate them. So that's why we look into the content. So we've gone back to them. We've re-established what we call media literacy programs. We've gone into universities. We have collaborations with universities where we go and talk and show them the kind of films and the rating, the classifications, what they look for.
Is it regular?
Yes, of course, regular. We've lined up to be in Oye soon. And several other universities, Okada, we've been to Okada. Just mention it in all the 6 zonal structures. Now secondary school, on a weekly basis, all over the country, we go into a minimum of 10-20 secondary schools, because that's the only way we can always curb this. And people are responding to it. We're making ambassadors of the young one, not only in terms of even content, in terms of speeches and things like that. We falls under media literacy programs that we do. That, okay, you have this phone, what do you use it for? This is what you should look out for. In a film, by the time we're doing that, we start seeing the result of even secondary school child telling the mother that, no, mommy, you shouldn't buy this. This is affecting the society. DVD, 10 in 1, 20 in 1, foreign films. You understand what we're saying? So the only other options that we have and that we are exploring is the media. For media allowing us to tell parents that there are certain fundamental teachings that comes from home, not from government. We mold the child from home to the village, then community. Is an expansion like that before government intervention. The couple of things, take for example, if you were on cyberspace and you have decided to link up with internet on your TV, there is a parental guard that you should be able to put on that thing. Government is not going to come into your house and say, don't buy something on internet. No, but those are your rules from home. So from this point, you are assisting not only yourself, you are assisting the entire society, the entire fabrics of the society. So those are kind of things that we plead with parents at home to always watch for. When a child is supposed to be on bed, those days I know when we're supposed to be, apart from reading newspapers. You see, parents on the street buy videos and take it home instead of buying newspaper.
Alhaji Adedayo Thomas, Executive Secretary, National Film and Video Censors Board. It was nice having you on Insight.
Thank you.
And we have tried to expound on copyright and uncensored works in Nigeria. Well, you are doing your 2 years, right? We hope by the time you're inching into the 3rd year, we'll bring you to give us an update on where you are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Up next on Insight is the media review segment. Don't go away.